the storm with your heart. Play the storm with your heart.
What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
This is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today to discuss the NBA. And it is week 3 of the NBA. It's still early in the season.
Yeah.
I know we really can't see how things are going to really materialize until around December, January-ish. That's when teams can start making trades. That's when we start to see a little bit of habits, how teams are really looking. The Cavs are 10-0, right now. They're beating up on all these different teams. Their offense has been electric. We talked about it last week, how they're number 2 in scoring a game, offensive points per game, and they're just shooting the lights out right now. I mentioned Kenny Atkinson. He's coaching the Cavs right now, and I said this before the season ended with the Lakers, trying to get a new coach. I was like, hey, I like Kenny Atkinson. Some people was like, he's not gonna really resonate with the players too much. His stint in with the Nets at the end, I was saying something about this guy on Twitter. He monitors how many plays are called, offensive efficiency, and he was like, Kenny Atkinson offense not all that efficient. Well, lo and behold, on the Cavs so far, they're one of the better offenses in the NBA, one of the more efficient offenses in the NBA. They're shooting the lights out from 3 right now. Donovan Mitchell is playing tremendous. Darius Garland's playing tremendous. But I think the biggest thing from this Cavs offense, that is why they're 10-0, is Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley has really unlocked his game. Kenny Atkinson, has unlocked Evan Mobley's game. He's putting the ball on the floor a lot more. He's not just being a pick and roll lob threat guy anymore. He's actually making plays offensively that he didn't make his first 2 years in the league. And this is what we've been waiting for, because he was compared to Anthony Davis coming out of college. And I was like, I don't see no Anthony Davis. Now, defensively, you can make a legitimate argument, but besides that, I'm like, Anthony Davis? I don't see no Anthony Davis in this game. But this season, so far, I see some of the signs. I see some of the ability to create his own shot, to put the ball on the floor. He's been tremendous this season. I got to give him credit. And if he can continue to develop and become an all-star caliber player, watch out. The Eastern Conference, watch out. Boston, you better watch out, because with the new CBA, we see these teams, they can't keep a lot of their players anymore. And Evan Mobley is still a young guy. Watch out, because the Cavs could potentially compete in the East.
Yeah.
Shit, they can compete right now. They keep playing like this. What are your thoughts on the Cavs, man? What do you like about the Cavs right now?
Very efficient offense. And it seems as if the thing I like about teams like the Cavs is that even when your main guy isn't performing super well, like Donovan Mitchell, he had an all right game. As other players are stepping up to fill in pick up the slack and fill in shoes. And that's really what you want to see from a team like this, that's especially this young. I think the oldest player is Donovan Mitchell in that starting lineup, who's 28. So, that's I just like seeing. I know we see obviously Cavs aren't. This version of the Cavs is a newer generation version. So I just like seeing younger teams really showing up, and the East ain't really got much to show for it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad right now. Yeah. It's only 2 teams that are over 500. All the other teams are under 500, which is. That's why it's too
500
early.
or under 500, something like that. Yeah.
That's why I say it's really early right now. But boy, that Eastern Conference is awful.
Yeah, it's bad. But man, I just like seeing the Cavs. They're this exciting team. They score a lot of points. I think you said they're second in points per game.
Well, yeah, the last time I saw, they were saying they might be number 1 now.
First now. Shoot.
Yeah,
Celtics, they kind of
they've been
injuries and stuff. So
yeah, but
yeah, man, fun team. They was boat racing the Warriors last night. So.
Yeah, they were cooking them. I was looking at the score. I was like, damn. I was like, they was up 80 to 40 or something. It was a bad.
It was something crazy.
I was just like, damn. Sheesh. Yeah, man. Cavs, salute to them, bro. Got nothing else to say. You know, they really put the work on my Lakers too.
LeBron put like, y'all should have went back to Cleveland.
Nah. Fuck that. You know, living in Los Angeles is great to live in Los Angeles. Don't want to go back to Cleveland. You know, we're moving forward. We're not moving backwards. You feel me? We're not moving backwards. But yeah, man. I want to also talk about the Spurs real quick. You know, we talked about this a little bit off screen, but Wembanyama, dude, like he's not playing all that well right now, and partly it's because of his play style. He's shooting a lot of jumpers. This is the problem with the new NBA. It's like a lot of these bigs, they want to be shooting guards. They want to be forwards. They want the ball in their hands. They don't want to do the dirty work. They don't want to go old school in the post, mid-range area. And Wembanyama, as of right now, he needs to change his game a little bit, bro. Like, you cannot just be a perimeter scorer trying to chuck up threes. Because the last game they played the Portland Trailblazers, in my opinion, is probably the worst team in the NBA. And he attempted 13 shots and he only made 4 of them. Against the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
They won the game, but, like, it's the Portland Trailblazers at the end of the day. So, I just don't know, man. It's just weird, bro. Just seeing a guy that's 7'4", not being able to put the ball in the hoop consistently with that much talent, it's just like, what we doing? Like, we're losing the plot a little bit.
And I'm going to shake the table a little bit, but as it stands right now, what does Wembanyama do better than Chet?
Ooh, that's a good point. As of right now.
Yeah, as of right now.
Well, defensively, I think he's better. I think he's better than Chet.
Yeah, but it's not like a super wide gap.
I don't know, man. He could guard the perimeter. He really covers a lot of the court.
So does Chet.
Shit, but the way he's able to defend on the perimeter, though.
Oh, he is he's more mobile than Chet.
For sure. But you got a point though.
Especially like offensive, like he does almost nothing better than Chet as of right now. And if he does something better, he ain't doing it enough.
Yeah, I think it just boils down to consistency for me. Like, I think like
I literally thought they got CP3 to feed him, get him open looks, especially like in the post and stuff like that. What are they doing?
I don't know.
It's a shame.
I will admit this because I don't want to come across like I know exactly what's going on with the Spurs. I haven't watched the Spurs game this year. I've watched like maybe a couple minutes of them. It was the first game. I think they played the Mavericks. That's the only time I've really seen the Spurs. So I'm really going off of just researching like box scores, analytics, and everything like that, and what I've seen online on Twitter, a couple clips. So I'm not giving you guys a definitive like breakdown of what's going on, but just going off of the previous seasons and then just looking at this season, there hasn't been much growth in my opinion. He's still trying to figure out exactly how to dominate. He still as a rookie, 20 points per game is still 20 points per game for a rookie. That's still impressive, but there needs to be some semblance of growth. The big concern with him coming out was just he was very skinny. He was a lot, very perimeter oriented. So he did gain some weight in the offseason, but he's still not there yet. He still hasn't gotten into his man body just yet. So he needs to figure out a balance. There has to be some sort of balance between shooting perimeter shots to just getting down in the paint and just bullying dudes in the paint, using your size and trying to take advantage of that. And it just seems like right now he hasn't figured out an identity, like what he wants to go to every single game, like how he wants to attack the defense every single game. It seems like he's still trying to figure that out. Still a growing process.
Honestly, I don't even think he needs to bully people down post because he's much more athletic than a lot of bigs, especially at that height he has. Like KD, he isn't super strong or nothing. He still gets a lot of points out the post and stuff like that. So he just needs to just use his skill. Like no one's going to be able to block your shot. There's maybe like 2 dudes in the league that can block Wemby.
I think it's just like having good shots.
The problem is
good shot selection.
I will say though, They are triple teaming him.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah.
See, again, I don't know because I haven't watched like all the games. I mean, that doesn't shock me at all. I mean, he's 7'4" for a reason.
And he's really like the only offensive threat the Spurs have as of right now until Vassell comes back.
Yeah, Devin. Yeah. So I mean, that doesn't shock me at all. I mean, the Spurs aren't all that talented. We knew this coming into the season, but he has to figure out a way to dominate the game in different facets of the floor. And right now, he's just not consistently do it. I mean, it is beginning of the season, so by December, if he's continuing to do this, then it's like really a concern. Like, okay, now what's going on? Like, all right, what are you doing? What needs to change? Because if you're still having this problem and we're in December, because around December, January, that's when like things really start to ramp up. That's when guys are starting to figure it out, start to really get into their groove. If he's still doing this and we're in December, January, then something's up, and they're gonna have to. We might have to start pushing the red button a little bit. Cause yeah, man, yeah. I want to go to the we got to do our weekly Lakers talk. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do it, fam. The Lakers, they're. I mean, this didn't shock me. I said it was gonna be a growing process.
Regression to the mean. You know?
I said it wasn't gonna be pretty early. They're 5-4 right now. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how the hell they beat the Suns, the Sacramento Kings, the Timberwolves. The fact they were able to beat those teams.
The film wasn't out yet. That's why.
But we still didn't have all that good talent, though. The talent was still bad. The bench was still bad. And yet we were still able to beat those teams. And we almost beat the Suns again. If LeBron showed up, we would have probably beat the Suns again. But, he was dealing with an illness, so I'll give him a little pass. But if he was healthy and he showed up, we probably would have beat the Suns again. Here's my thought of the Lakers. It's pretty obvious what they need. We have no bench. Our defense is not good. And we can't shoot threes. So how you going to win consistently if you can't do those three things? You can't defend, you can't shoot threes consistently, and you have no bench. Like I'm going to say this right now. So a couple names I got to call out right now. Number one, we all know D'Angelo Russell. Dating back to last season, he's just a lost cause at this point. He's just in it for the money at this point. There's no passion. He doesn't seem locked in at all. Like defensively, at times he seems like he's daydreaming.
The loading screen has froze.
Offensively, he just keeps making boneheaded mistakes. Like he'll turn the ball over. Like some passes, I'm just like, why would you make that pass? Shot attempts, why would you shoot that?
Yeah.
How did you miss that basket towards the buzzer when there was nobody right there? Last game against the it was the who was it? Oh, the 76ers. You were wide open. Why would you go for a floater? Just go for a layup. Why would you do that? These are just some things that you just watch D'Angelo Russell and you're like, are you there? Like what's going on? Are you still mad because you didn't get paid the money that you felt you deserved? Well, this is why you didn't get the money you felt you deserved. It's because of the stuff that you're doing on the court that doesn't result to winning. He's not a winning player. He's pouting. He's not giving it 100% all the time. He seems not locked in all the time. That's the reason why
he's super poor on the defensive end. Good.
He's awful. He's very awful. Like he is really.
He's letting dudes just cut on him. He's not paying attention. Like he's not rotating fast enough. Like it's just.
And he's not closing out on shooters fast enough. Like that's one of the things that frustrates me about D'Angelo Russell a lot. Is just his lack of urgency closing out on shooters. Like he'll just allow a shooter to. Hey, they get the ball, and then he won't even close out fast enough. You're taught to, like, this is dating back to, like, youth league basketball, like, making sure to close out fast. Mm-hmm. He doesn't do that. Like, he's just jogging back, walking back. Like, there's no urgency with him, and that's why J.J. Redick benched him. And I am so glad J.J. Redick called him out. Normally, you don't want your coaches to call out players. You want it to keep it behind closed doors. But when your coach is consistently telling the player, hey, you got to do this better. Hey, I saw this we called him out on film about this. Hey, remember what we talked about? and he still doesn't do what you tell him to do, you need to call him out in the public. You need to call him out in the media, because that's the only way you're going to deliver that message to them. And you need to bench him, because you need to show that the stuff you're doing, the stuff you're doing is unacceptable. And I think what I'll say about JJ Redick is this. What I noticed about JJ Redick that's good is he understands that in order to win, you need guys on the court that are going to put the effort into at least trying. And with D'Angelo Russell, he just doesn't seem like he really cares enough, and that he's really putting 100% into trying to win the game. And another thing is, you just got to play better. The only way you're going to earn minutes, play defense, putting effort. And another guy I'm going to call out is Max Christie. Max Christie is another guy that's been playing pretty bad that we gave money to. He felt like he was, that Darvin Ham was holding him back. Well, dude, Darvin Ham is gone. We gave you the minutes that you wanted. You're coming off of the bench, but you're getting a good amount of minutes to show if you can play or not, and you're not playing well either. And Cam Reddish is outperforming you, and he's getting paid a minimum contract and stuff. And so what did JJ Redick do? He benched him. Well, not benched him, but he took his minutes away, and he gave them to Cam Reddish. And Cam Reddish deserves them, because against the Grizzlies, what happened? Cam Reddish played way better than Max Christie ever played this season. Max Christie, he was supposed to be a guy that we can rely on as a shooter and as a wing defender, and he can't do both. He can't do either. And we paid him all that money, and he still hasn't grown as a player. I think we drafted him in like 22. This is going on the third season, and he hasn't developed at all. And yet you were demanding certain things from Darvin Ham, and when we get JJ Redick, you haven't grown at all. So JJ Redick, I'll give him credit for not just allowing these players to just continue to play, giving subpar effort, giving any semblance of offense or defense. These guys are gonna have to earn their minutes, and I appreciate that, because Darvin Ham wasn't doing that. Darvin Ham would allow these players to continue to play that aren't playing well. JJ Redick is coming in as the disciplinarian, as a guy that's like, in order to get on the court, you gotta play defense. In order to get on the court, you gotta put effort into what you're doing. You gotta look like you care. And I don't like Gabe Vincent. I think Gabe Vincent is garbage. But at least he gives effort. At least he tries. At least he's willing to do the dirty work. Cam Reddish, he's been playing okay-ish. He's been playing a lot better. He'll give you effort. He'll play defense. He'll cut for you. He'll do a lot of the dirty work. That's what you want from your role players. And I understand why JJ Redick would give them minutes. But we need a trade. The bench is just god awful. We have the worst bench in the NBA.
But who you going to trade besides D'Lo?
So obviously you're gonna have to give up some picks. Yeah. We can make a trade. It's just right now you have to wait until December 15th, I think it is, before you can make a trade, because certain guys' contracts will be eligible to be traded. So we're gonna have to wait until around mid-December in order to make a trade. But in order for this team to go anywhere, they're gonna have to acquire some players via trade. My guess is try to figure something out with Utah. Get a Colin Sexton and a Walker Kessler. Those are the only two names that I'm hearing right now that could really make a difference. Or Jordan Clarkson. But we need somebody off the bench that can give us instant offense. And then we need another big that we can count on to protect the paint, that can defend, that can get us boards. And I think Walker Kessler and Colin Sexton are perfect fits for what we're trying to do. And those two guys, I won't have to worry about effort at all. You need guys, that's the thing I don't understand about some of these NBA players, is that you need pro athlete, you have to go to pro athletes and demand effort. you're a pro athlete, and we have to constantly ask you to give 100% effort. It's like, really? Like, you're a grown-ass man. Grown-ass man. Like, what? So that's what it is, man. Like, you gotta have guys that are really there to lock in and to put 100% effort. And we don't have that with some of these dudes. Like, some of these dudes, they just not putting all their effort into the game.
They're not buying in.
Nah, man. And I know people go look at me. Well, Darvin, how you gonna say this about JJ Redick? But what about Darvin Ham last year? Well, Darvin Ham was just an idiot. Like, Darvin Ham would just allow certain stuff to slide, and he didn't make any adjustments. JJ Redick is trying stuff. He's trying different things. It's just some of it is working, some of it's not working. So that's all I have to say on that matter, man. Until they can get a consistent bench and guys that can defend, we're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be seeing clips and stuff. It look like JJ Redick on the sideline ready to suit up.
Bro, he be looking pissed off. There was an out of bounds play, I think it was, and I think maybe D'Angelo Russell may have been the guy out of bounds to pass the ball, and we weren't able to pass the ball out of bounds, and JJ Redick was pissed. I don't know what he said, but he probably said some stuff that you gonna have to censor out of the television screen. And what I love about JJ Redick is that he just seems like he cares so much. Like, he cares more than even the players. Darvin Ham would just hands in the pocket, just
go hard on them dudes. Everybody's trying to play the right way. Salute.
Same old face. It just seemed like he didn't really give a damn. Like, he didn't have no answers. He looked like he had like he just looked like he was daydreaming while he was on the court.
He was watching the game like us.
Yeah,
like,
he was just a fan. Like, he was just observing, like, just looking around. Like, bro, you gotta be locked in, man. You gotta understand. Hey, all right, we gotta do this. We gotta make certain adjustments. Like, JJ Redick is out there, like, really trying his hardest to figure out, how can I make this team better? How can I put a lineup together that'll make sense? And he's trying. He really is trying. And so far, 5-4 for this team. It's better than most.
Yeah.
We could have been 1-6. We could have Darvin Ham. If Darvin Ham was the coach right now, we would have been like 1-6. We would have been the 76ers situation right now. We would have been awful. We probably wouldn't have won a game. But with JJ Redick, we're at least 5-4. Like, that's better than most right now. Like, think about this. Like, I think maybe last year we started off pretty slow as well. Like, we were bad, man. We were pretty bad. I'll take 5-4. I'll take 5-4 over anything. We're gonna be playing 500 to a little bit better than 500 ball until we make a trade. So I'm not really surprised at all this. This is the expectation I expected for this team. I was watching, and we'll move on to the other teams, but I was watching this one podcast of these guys. They do similar stuff that we're doing right now. But it was like two Laker fans, and they were pointing out, like, hey, this is what we kind of expected from the season. Like, us Laker fans, we weren't expecting them to compete for a championship. Like, we know what the front office has done in the past. Like, they didn't make no moves at all. So there was no expectation coming in that we were going to just significantly improve because we changed the coaching. Like, nah, we got to make some trades in order to really get this team afloat. And until we make trades, it's going to be the same old. So, yeah. All right.
Salute.
Pretty much salute on that one. The Suns are 8-1. Yeah, because they won yesterday against the Mavericks.
Nail biter.
Their offense has been phenomenal. The one loss against, obviously, my Lakers, which is kind of funny that their only one loss is against my team. But anywho, they've been really good. The offense has been gelling. It seems like when things are going right, they move the ball. Guys are cutting. Guys are making the unselfish play. I told you this when the Lakers faced the Suns the first time, that one of the things that goes wrong for the Suns is that when things don't go their way, they resort back to one-on-one ball. They don't move the ball. They're not cutting. They're not making the extra pass. Well, it seems like the Suns have found an identity. Mike Budenholzer being the coach. You can say whatever you want about Mike Budenholzer, but any team he goes to, they always win. Any team he goes to, the offense seems to gel. The offense seems to click a lot of times. And they paid him all that money for a reason, because the ownership feels like Mike Budenholzer can be that coach to take this team over the top. And so far, this team has been one of the best teams in the NBA right now. I mean, they're right there with OKC. They're tied in the win-loss column with them. And they've been better than the Nuggets. They've been better than the Lakers, obviously, the Kings, the Warriors. I think the Warriors have one loss. Yeah. But man, like they just been great, bro.
Actually, Warriors got 2 losses.
They got 2 losses. That's right, because they lost to the Cavs. Yeah. So, yeah, man, they've been one of the best teams in the West so far. The Western Conference hasn't been all that great. It's still early, but
much better than the East, I tell you that much.
For sure. I mean, when you bring in Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, this is what you expect. You expect them to play well. You expect them to shoot the ball really well. And they've been good from 3-point range. They've been good from 2-point range. These guys have been very efficient so far. And they've been playing a lot better defensively than I thought they could. Mm. Nothing really much else to say. I mean,
that Tyus Jones addition, much needed. Because now you don't have to rely on Book being the primary ball handler all game. Now you could let him play more off ball, which he did a lot of during the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about that other responsibility of trying to get other guys involved, trying to make plays for others. Like, now he could just be the scorer. Mm-hmm. And that's the dangerous part.
And play defense, yeah.
I think one of the things about Tyus Jones that was like a criticism of his is that people felt like, oh, Tyus Jones, like they say, oh, his assist to turnover ratio is so low because he be making the most simplest passes.
But like, what is he supposed to do? Want to throw behind the back passes like he magic or something? No, just get the ball to the player when you need to.
I mean, that's all he really needs to do. He just needs to be a distributor. I think Tyus Jones, he's not the most effective offensive player. Like, he's not really a dead-eye shooter. Yeah. But he's just a guy that you can trust to protect the basketball. And he'll deliver you the basketball. Is it the most advanced passes you've ever seen in your life? Is it Trae Young? Is it Luka Doncic? No, but he takes care of the basketball. He'll run your offense, and that's all you really need. I don't know how good of a defender he is, but I haven't heard much about him in terms of being a defensive liability. I could be wrong, though. I just don't know a whole lot about Tyus Jones. I watched him in college. But besides that, I mean, I haven't really been paying attention to him too much. But it seems like he adds what the Suns have been missing, which is a distributor of the basketball that can run your offense. And so far, it's worked.
Yep.
So I want to go to the who else? The Warriors. I thought Curry was going to be out a little bit longer, but it turns out he came back. They beat the Celtics the other night, although they were missing Jaylen Brown. They did go to, I think they went to Boston and they won. Mm-hmm. That's a tough environment. They won there. I was watching they have like something similar to like a Skycam ESPN has for basketball. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting. I mean, the cam could be a little bit better, but I was watching the game.
Work in progress.
And Curry being Curry, he came in the clutch. He was able to hit a lot of clutch shots at the end, and they were able to beat the Celtics. All that chatter about Jason Tatum's going to get his revenge on Steve Kerr, like all these, man, people need to shut up, bro.
Anime.
People need to shut up about all this nonsense. Like, that's why I hate when I hear about, revenge games. Oh, this guy, he switched teams. He's going to get revenge on. Oh, he got traded to another team. Just a bunch of nonsense. Like, that's the problem with the NBA. It's like some of these like storylines are just dumb storylines.
They just reaching for anything at this point.
The only storyline in the previous, I say, 5 to 7 years where you can sort of only revenge game, the storyline that you can sort of spin to like being like a big deal was like the Kevin Durant, Oklahoma City sort of storyline where Kevin Durant left and he went to Golden State, and Russ he's by himself trying to get revenge on Kevin Durant. That's the only time where I felt like, all right, that storyline is kind of interesting because he did leave him high and dry to go to the enemy. That was the only time in the past 5 to 7 years where I was very interested on how that will go, and I was really locked in. But besides that, I don't really. All these other revenge games are not that interesting.
Not really, no.
Like, oh my God, Chris Paul going back to the Clippers, like, so? James Harden goes back to Houston, so? Who else? It's just so many just dumb storylines. Oh, this coach goes back to this team. Like, so what? It's just boring, man. It's just boring, bro.
NBA viewership declining for a reason.
They're trying to do anything. To try to make the if they're trying to make the game sort of interesting, wouldn't you try to promote it more that way instead of having like people online doing it for you? They just don't do it.
They got a lot of problems over there.
They do.
Trying to garner viewership.
Yeah, trying to go to streaming, thinking that's gonna work. All right, well,
good luck.
Yeah, good luck to that. But yeah, Warriors are still 2 losses. They're up in the Western Conference. The Dallas Mavericks, they lost to the Suns. They were missing Lively and P.J. Washington, so they were kind of beat up. They almost beat the Suns too. They were damn near there if they had more time to, get a shot off. But ultimately, they only had 0.8 seconds. I watched that game, and they were competing. They were right there. I'm not too worried about the Mavericks. They just got to get healthy, and they still got Luka, Kyrie, and those guys. Klay Thompson, he's been playing okay for them, so I'm not really too worried about the Mavericks right now. The Denver Nuggets, they've been winning a little bit recently. Jamal Murray, he's back. He played pretty well the last game. We talked about it a little bit off screen, but I'm still not sold on the Denver Nuggets as like a real championship contender because of that bench. And losing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was a huge loss for them just as perimeter defender, as a guy that can shoot from the outside. That's a huge loss for them. I just don't think Michael Porter Jr. and Eric Gordon can really increase their effectiveness offensively to sort of mask.
You mean Aaron Gordon?
What, I said Eric
You
Gordon?
said Eric Gordon.
I could have wait, Aaron Gordon.
You said Eric Gordon.
I could have sworn I said
You
Aaron
said
Gordon.
Eric.
I said Aaron Gordon. I could have sworn. Well, I'll look back at the film.
Okay.
I could have sworn I said Aaron Gordon. But Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., I just think that they felt like probably that they can sort of mask the loss of
Aaron Gordon hurt, ain't he?
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's hurt.
Damn, that makes it even worse. Listen, I'm not really following along these guys what's going on. I've just been locked in with my Lakers, locked in with all these teams. I don't even know like who's hurt, who's not. It feels like around the league everybody is hurt. Feels like everybody's sitting out. That's the problem with the viewership right now is because players aren't playing all the damn time. But
yep, he's hurt.
Okay. Well, regardless, yeah, man. They feel like they can sort of mask the absence of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They're 5-3, 6-3, 5-3, 6-3, 6-3 right now. I mean, 6-3 is not bad, only 3 losses, but I just don't think they're a serious contender right now. They just don't have enough firepower, in my opinion, to really compete with the OKCs, potentially the Suns, or the Mavericks right now. I just think they don't have the firepower. Nikola Jokic is always going to be Nikola Jokic, but besides that, Jamal Murray, I know he played well the previous game, but he hasn't been all that consistent ever since that injury last season. So I'm not already sold with the Denver Nuggets right now, unless they make like a significant trade, which I doubt they'll do. So that's just me. That's fair. I want to talk about the Pelicans, dude. Yo, when are they gonna go on a full rebuild?
It needs to be sooner rather than later.
I think they're like 3-6 right now.
I want to say 3-7 actually. Let me check. I'm about to check.
Dog. Zion was out with an injury. I think the previous game. I saw the starting lineup. The group chat,
3-7.
Bro, the group chat sent the starting lineup, and I was like, there is no way they're serious right now. I think who is it? That one guy, that one defensive guy that they be relying on.
Alvarado?
Nah, it's not him. It's
Herb Jones.
He got hurt, remember?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be out for a little bit.
Yeah, this starting lineup was something else. I tell you.
And then,
that
and
much.
what about the other guy? The other
Trey Murphy.
Yeah, what happened to him? He got hurt
I think
too.
he's hurt too.
Bro, they need to blow it up, man. It's over. Like, y'all tried, bro, but it's over.
Yeah,
When are they gonna just go full on rebuild? It's clear as day that Zion and BI are not reliable, and then you have a bunch of dudes that are always hurt. Like, individually, these guys are amazing. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. It used to be CJ McCollum, but now he's kind of washed down. Well, I wouldn't say washed, but he's falling off a little bit. Zion Williamson.
CJ
Brandon
McCollum
Ingram.
ain't even play.
Exactly. Alvarado. Like, these guys are, like, individually, like, they're good. I think Dyson Daniels. He's okay. He's okay as well. So they need to go full on rebuild, bro. Like, this is not working.
He ain't even play.
This whole team is just a mess right now. Hey, if you a Pelican fan, good God, bro. I would hate to be a Pelicans fan right now. Y'all traded Anthony Davis.
Dyson Daniels, he plays for the Hawks.
Oh, they traded him away? They probably traded.
Yeah,
they traded him away. Why did they? I think he's been playing well for them, actually.
Yeah, he has 12 points.
Yeah, he's been playing well for them. Dog. Ever since they traded Anthony Davis, there's no like future for them, dude. Like, they drafted Zion Williamson, they got Brandon Ingram, and there's no improvement. Like, they're just stuck in the same old cycle of, okay, we expect them to play, they get hurt, they come back, they play for like 10 games, they get hurt.
They somehow end up in the play-in every year.
And then by the end of the season, the guy's gone for the rest of the season. Now only one of the stars can play. They play and play in, they lose, back to the same old cycle. It's like
they just need to pull the plug.
Literally, they need to go.
The vase is about broken.
They need to go full on like Utah rebuild. Just trade. I don't know. Do you trade both of the players?
Join your Saints brethren and embrace the tank.
Do you trade both of the players, or do you only trade one of them?
I think you just trade one. But shoot, either way, I don't think any of the Zion. I guess he's the more franchise guy type, but he can't play a full season. And he hasn't been playing all that well either this year.
He hasn't. You could probably, who would get more off the trade market, Brandon Ingram or Zion?
Probably Zion because he's younger. And his draft position would definitely.
Yeah, they need to go full on rebuild. Just because they're young doesn't mean you should just keep allowing them to play for your team. Like, there has to become a point where you got to play.
Actually, no, y'all traded for LeBron and AD. No, you traded for AD, so that doesn't really count. Let me think. What other team said, you know what, enough is enough. We're going to start from the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies said we got to start from the ground up, and they made it to the playoffs.
Yeah. Utah's doing it now.
Yeah.
Utah's OKC.
The Magic,
yeah. Yeah. You can
Cavs.
but you have to develop your players.
That is true.
You have to be good in the draft, and it doesn't always go your way, but it's worked. The Houston Rockets too. The Houston Rockets. Yep. I mean, they're still trying to figure some things
obviously.
out. Yeah, Thunder. Yeah, we already mentioned the Thunder. Denver Nuggets at one point in the past, but it comes to a point where like you reached your floor, you reached your ceiling. There's really no way of improving with this current regime. You're gonna have to just take the Band-Aid off and just start over. Like, that's just how it is. And the Pelicans, they just seem like in the same old cycle of mediocrity, of trying to get these players to get healthy, make it work, and it's just not going to work, man. You're just going to have to blow it up. And I just don't see why they keep doing it. It just feels like eventually somebody's going to have to get moved, and I think it's going to be Brandon Ingram.
Probably, more than likely.
I don't think it's going to be Zion. I feel like they're going to keep Zion.
You know how these owners get, they just want to sell tickets and put butts in seats, and I guess having two stars that are somewhat marketable will do that. Mm-hmm. But at some point, you got to look at the long term.
I just don't think
the bigger picture here.
I just don't think Zion's a winning player for them. I feel like he's just one of them dudes, like, he's just not going to be available for you. You have to trade him. It just seems like you got to move him.
Logically, it makes sense. Logically, it makes sense, but you know how NBA
I know. They drafted him number 1. He's the franchise guy, but I just don't see him really doing anything for them. Like besides selling T-shirts, being on posters, going to certain events. I just don't see any benefit with him anymore. I feel like the relationship has gone to a certain extent where there's no return involved.
And then they gave him all that money too.
Yeah, they gave him all that money.
So someone will have to want to take on that contract too for a guy that's going to play maybe 40 games, maybe 50 something games a year, maybe.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, but again, a potential all-star caliber player in return. So I just think they got to make some type of move. There's just no way you can just stay as is and expect to win because these two guys are unreliable. You thought Zion Williamson will be a franchise caliber player. He's just not. He's not reliable, and that's just how it is, man. That's just how it is.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't make sense to keep 2 stars on the team when you're trash.
Okay, yeah.
So somebody's got to move or rust.
Yeah, literally, pretty much. All right, who else we got in the Eastern Conference that we could talk about right now?
The East? I mean, the Knicks is
What, they're like 3-4?
4-4.
4-4.
They beat the Bucks. The Bucks is terrible, by the way.
I mean, we already talked about the Knicks. It's going to be a growing process. They're still figuring out things along the way. The Bucks, we already mentioned, like they're just a lost cause at this point. What's the record? What's the Bucks record?
2-7. Yeah, 2-7.
Yeah,
They're horrible.
yeah, they're. Yeah, so they're pretty much they're cooked. They're cooked. I don't see it getting any better for the Bucks. The Dame Giannis dynamic, the vibes are just way off with that team. I just think they're done. They're gonna have to be sellers pretty soon. I already saw the reports that they're looking to eventually make a trade. I don't know if that means they're gonna trade their guys or they're trying to bring somebody in, but Lakers to take Bobby Portis. We'll definitely take Bobby Portis off your hands, but there's just no hope for this team. It just seems like Milwaukee, they had that window. They capitalized on that window, but
it's Jover.
Yeah, it's Jover. They got old. It used to be Milwaukee, Boston, Philly on the outside now. Now they're just
Heat.
Yeah, now they're just looking. Everybody's outside, and you're just stuck in like the SpongeBob meme. Everybody's outside, running around while you in the house looking out the window.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. What about your Wizards, man? How the Wizards doing right now? Any updates on the Wizards?
They still, it's still not a good team as of right now, but that's because of youth and all of that stuff. But they competing a bit. So I'm trying to lose. I'm trying to capture the flag, but just want to see players do it. Alex Sarr had a bad game last night, I believe. So this is gonna be a work in progress. I'm not expecting much from this team.
I saw something. So I think it was Draymond Green was calling out. Who was it? It was one of the players on the team. I think it was one of the rookies.
What did he say about him? Cause I saw a clip like yesterday or the day before. He said he was getting bullied when they played. Like Draymond said, I was getting bullied when we played the Wizards.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He was talking about Bub Carrington and Keyshawn George. Yeah, he said they was bullying him.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So we got the YNs on the Wizards.
Yeah, you got a bunch of rough riders, got a bunch of tough guys on the team. Good, that's good. Building a culture, building an establishment,
an identity.
Yeah, y'all finally figuring
toughness on the team since
out.
John Wall was on the roster.
Yeah, man. Let me see. What's the record looking like?
Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards turning into Steph Curry. I don't know where that came from, but I think they only won like 2 games. I think they were 2-6, something like that.
The Wizards, they're winning. They are 2-5.
2-5.
Yeah, 2-5 right now.
I ain't expecting to get much better. I'm trying to capture the flag. Cooper Flag in DC. Oh, it's a movie. It's gonna be Jaden Daniels-esque.
Okay. So last team I want to talk about. My team, the Lakers, faced them last night. The Philadelphia 76ers.
What a disaster.
Okay, so we were alluding this last week, but I want to sort of talk about it a little bit more, and it's the fact that the problems with trying to go all in on like a super team when both players are injury prone, a little bit up there in age. So you have Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and then you have a bunch of guys that, let's face it, the talent level isn't all that great. So you have like Andre Drummond, you have Caleb Martin. They drafted that rookie out of Duke, who's actually pretty good for them. He's actually been really well for them. And then you have I think Reggie Jackson, but he's up there in age as well. He's not all that good anymore. Andre Drummond, Kelly Oubre, but the talent level is not all that great, and the star players aren't playing because they're hurt, suspended now.
I think Tyrese Maxey hurt now too.
Yeah, hamstring injury. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I keep telling y'all, we keep telling y'all that super team model is dead. It's dead. Like, if your guys are not going to play, it's not going to work. If your guys are not in their prime, it's not going to work. And these teams just keep doing the same mistake over and over and over again. It's the curse of the super teams. There is a curse on teams that elect to try to microwave their way to competing for a championship, trying to get 3 stars and put them together and expect to win a championship. It's not going to work in 2024, 2025 in this day and age, because you have to hope that these 3 stars will be healthy, because when you look at the surrounding cast, they're not all that great. You can't survive with 2 out of the 3 star players being out for your team. And right now, I think they're like 1-8, 1-7.
It's bad.
It is horrible. They look awful. They looked awful against my Lakers. How the hell does that happen? Seriously. Like, I'm looking at this team, and I'm just like, yo, Paul George, I think he had like 8 or 9 points that game. I know he's just came back from an injury, but still, 8 or 9 points against the Lakers. Ooh. Andre Drummond's getting significant minutes. The rookie they have, he's really good. But like, it's just so much stuff about this team that you look at and you're just like, boy, did they drop the ball. And I'm telling you, I guarantee you this. This is going to be one of them teams where the 3-star players, they're probably going to have like 10 games where they're playing with one another this season. It's going to be one of those deals where, just like with the Nets, just like with the Suns, just like with the Clippers, by the end of the year, there's gonna be a graphic that says the big 3 of Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and Paul George are probably going to have 10 to 15 games where they play with one another. And if they get into the playoffs, they'll probably be like an 8th or 7th seed. They probably got to go up against the Knicks or the Celtics, and they'll lose in like 5 or 6 games. It's gonna be one of those type of deals, because We've seen this formula in the past. We've seen how this goes. This is not something that we've never seen before, where it's like, oh my God, like, no way are they just going to falter. No way are they just going to implode. Like, bro, that's generally what happens with teams that are injury prone, that have 3 stars, that have never played with one another before. The team just underperforms, and they have a bad bench. This is just how it goes. What is your thoughts on this situation?
I saw it coming a mile away. You can't rely on Joel Embiid and Paul George to play a lot of games for you. I know it's still early in the season, but like you said, we already know how this is going to end. They're going to make the playoffs, get bounced by one of them top 3 seeds in the East more than likely. And it's just, I feel like the Sixers, they tried, it might be over.
Might be.
Embiid is fantastic, but
he's not reliable.
Yeah.
He's only going to give you maybe 40 to 50 games a year.
Yeah.
Can't
Paul
trust
George, he's old.
Yeah, he's 35.
And he's not as effective as a scorer anymore.
No.
Not really getting much separation anymore. He's not the PG we saw back in OKC that one year.
Or Indiana.
Or Indiana, forgot, let alone that. But even the first year he was with the Clippers. But yeah, it's not looking good for him.
Nah, man. It seems like a lost cause at the end of the day.
They got rid of Tobias just to bring in Tobias Harris 2.0.
Paid him like 200 M's, 4-year contract at 35.
That's just bad management.
It is. It's
I know you're trying to win now, but I mean, dog.
It just seems like all the moves they have made ever since losing out on Jimmy Butler, letting Jimmy Butler go, they've just made so many bad moves. Like re-signing Tobias Harris, getting Paul George. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like they've been missing out on so much. Like
hiring Doc Rivers. And the James Harden stuff.
Yeah, the James Harden stuff. It just seems like there's something wrong about this team. All they had to do was re-sign Jimmy Butler. That's all.
They should have ran it back. I don't know why they didn't.
You know, I always bring this up, the term, Nexus event. Like Marvel, like one of the things I love about Marvel is how like they'll create these certain scenarios in your head and they'll call it a certain term, and it's like a scenario that just changes everything about just history itself. And the Philadelphia 76ers, like literally, if they would have re-signed Jimmy Butler, it would have changed everything. It would have changed the whole just picture of the Eastern Conference as we know it. Like Jimmy Butler on the 76ers, I just, like, what? Like, just think about that, right? Jimmy Butler on the 76ers, like the past 4 or 5 seasons, who would have known? Like, they probably would have won a championship with Jimmy Butler on that team. They may have, like, they would have probably traded away Ben Simmons possibly, and you just add some pieces around them. They could have won a championship, but they decided to not re-sign Jimmy Butler, go with Tobias Harris, stick with Ben Simmons, and then you get rid of Ben Simmons. You bring in James Harden, who coming off of a significant injury with the Brooklyn Nets, and he wasn't really the same. He gets mad. He elects to leave. You stick with Tyrese Maxey. Okay, that's cool, but, ceiling hasn't really gone up at all. And then bringing Paul George, injuries. It's just, it feels like something is coming. Something is eventually going to come. What I mean by that is a trade, one of the star players. Will it be Joel Embiid? Maybe. It might be.
Shoot, the way the local media treat him, Embiid might ask out.
Seems like something is arise for them. Something's going to come in a few years from now, because it just seems like the vibes are like really off with that organization right now. It seems like the vibes is really off with Joel Embiid. I know it's early. We're sort of speculating a little bit, but 1-7?
Unacceptable.
All right, man, I can't think of anything else right now, but thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well, and we will see you all in the next episode of the Courtside View Podcast. So thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Just let me be.